Hey guys, this is Dirk with Merus Adventure Park. I'm here to walk you through running the TrailRecon Extreme Challenge. Now, if you haven't heard about this challenge before, you're going to want to watch this video. It is really amazing. So, first things first, what is Merus Adventure Park? Okay, Merus Adventure Park is the largest outdoor adventure park in the state of Texas. We are located in Palo Duro Canyon, which is actually the second largest canyon in North America. So we are building what we believe to be one of the best outdoor adventure experiences in all of America. We've been going for about 18 months now. We've got over 200 five-star Google reviews of people that have come here. We've had people from all over the United States. We offer off-roading, hiking, mountain biking, and caving experiences. Now, second question, what is the TrailRecon Extreme Challenge? If you haven't heard of that, Brad Kowitz with TrailRecon and I worked together to create an incredible challenge. This isn't the kind of challenge where, some people that are used to the Jeep challenge, like some of these Jeep challenges, you pull your car inside the gate of an outdoor park or onto a trail and you earn your badge. This is not that. This is something that you have to really want and really have to push yourself through. And when you do and complete it, you are going to get a very special badge. So check this out. So you're going to get one of these, the TrailRecon Extreme Challenge badge. And you'll notice right up here, it's blank, but the actual badges that we hand out are serialized. So you're going to get a serialized badge. This is a nice heavy badge. You can kind of hear it clink in here. I mean, this thing's a good size. It's fairly heavy. And you also get a coin. Unfortunately, I don't have a coin with me. Shame on me for not actually carrying my coin with me. But you're going to get the badge and the coin for completing the challenge. Now, let's talk about this. Let's look at what the challenge is, because this is an off-road and overlanding challenge. Now, you don't have to camp out on the trail if you don't want to. There's two ways to do this. You can actually do this on an overlanding route where you are taking all your gear with you, and you're going to have two different stops, two different nights along the route. So obviously that makes it more challenging because you're carrying a lot of extra weight with you. The other option is that you actually set up a base camp up on the rim close to the office, or you could actually even stay in a cabin here or in an RV site, or we actually rent some RVs, glamping site. I mean, kind of whatever you want. Whether you want to set your own base camp up or use one of our glamping sites, cabins, whatever that you want, but you can run the challenge from either place. Now, if you choose to base camp up at the top or stay in a cabin, something like that, you're going to have some additional run times, because as soon as you get done running the route every day, you're going to have to drive back up, and then the next morning drive back down to where you left off last night and keep running the challenge. Some of these drives just from where your campsite is coming back up can be fairly long. So you may want to choose to overland and take all your gear with you. The downside is you're carrying a lot of extra weight on some pretty rough terrain. The other option, you can set up camp only one time, or you can stay in a cabin, something like that. You're taking a lot less weight with you, but you're going to have some additional drive time to get from back to the point. So let's jump in and look at what we're actually running here. I'm going to share my screen. And the first thing we're going to look at is a Google Doc that you will get access to. So once you do your booking, you're going to get access to this document that we're looking at right now. And again, you can see the badge up there. You can see this one 0001, which is actually the badge that Brad got. And I actually have badge number 2. So Brad and I were the first two to run the challenge. We've already had about 13 badges handed out now from people that have run the challenge from the TrailRecon Summit, which, by the way, we're doing the second summit this year in October, and it is going to be amazing. So watch for tickets for that. All right, so let's jump in here. We've got this broken down: day 1, day 2, and day 3. We've got the trails that you'll be running and the order that you'll be running them. And then there's also a Gaia map. Let me see if this pulls up. It's a little slow on my side. There we go. All right, so you're going to get the map. It's going to show you exactly kind of what the route is. We're actually going to look at this in just a second, so we will come back to that. Let's get back to the dock here. So you're going to have a link, a Gaia link for Gaia GPS link for each day. We recommend that you download these so that you can have them on your phone to follow the route, because this is important. You have to run the entire challenge in the exact way that the challenge is laid out if you want to qualify for getting the badge. We've had probably 7 or 8 people attempt this, and they did not finish, either because they broke down on the trail or they ran out of time or whatever the case may be. They did not get a badge. This is a strict standard that Brad and I set, that you have to run the entire route the way that it's laid out. Otherwise, you're not going to get your badge. So one thing also, you're going to have to record yourself running the trail from Gaia GPS. We're going to check your GPS file when it was recorded, make sure that the distance and all that kind of stuff matches, and that's how we're going to know that you did the whole thing just like we laid it out. Anyway, I'm going to go through a map to run you through day 1, 2, and 3 in just a second. But I wanted to just quickly go through here. Each day is going to have what trails you're running, again, what the rating is, blue, black, green, and then what the average run time is. Like, guys, and this is a very wide average right now. After we have maybe 30, 40, 50 people run this, we can really start dialing in a closer average. But this is going to be different for everybody depending on your level of experience. Do you have somebody with you that's going to help you spot? Are you multiple rigs, single rig? If you come out and run this thing solo, just you, and you're going to have to get in and out of your rig quite a few times to spot, so that will slow you down. Depending on your level of comfort, your build, all that kind of stuff is going to depend on how fast you can get through some of these things. So this is, just take this for a grain of salt. This is kind of an average, a wide average. We don't have enough data to really have dialed that in yet. But what we did is we said approximately on average, it's going to take this many minutes to run each trail, which gives you a total run time for the day. And then just what that is in hours. So you're looking at day 1, about 4 hours, 4 hours, 12 minutes. And the total mileage, just under 8 miles here for day 1. You get to your day 1 camp, or at the end of that, you hit stop on your recorder. You're coming back up top. You're spending the night up here, and then next morning going back down and continuing. Okay. Day 2, you kick off, and we've got, you can see quite a big list here. Some of these are just short connects between trails, so keep that in mind too. You'll see that reflected in the time. But for day 2, maybe 7 hours, 48 minutes, right? This can probably fluctuate anywhere from, I'd say, somebody running this fairly quick is going to be maybe 4.5, 5 hours. That's moving. That's knowing the line, not really needing much spotting. That's cruising through things pretty quick. Or, I mean, this could be a 9 or 10 hour day, right? So just keep that in mind. But on average, this is not on average. This is 10.3 miles. And then you're getting to the Boots Off camp. Day 3, your last day here, about 5 hours of run time, another 10 miles. Now, I am going to show you how, if on day 1 you're making good time, and especially if you want to, or day 2 you're making good time, you want kind of get out quicker on day 3. I am going to show you how to add a loop at the end of day 2 that'll cut out. It'll probably cut out maybe about 2.5 to 3 hours of the last day. So if you want a shorter day on day 3, you can run a longer day on day 2, and I'll show you how to do that. So by the time that you're done, just under 1,000 minutes of runtime on average. Again, that's 16.3 hours, and right under 29 miles of off-road. So you kind of guessed it already. These aren't just wide open country roads that you're cruising like 30, 40 miles an hour out, like hanging your arm out the window. you are going to be going pretty slow on this kind of stuff, and you are going to be needing to pay attention every second that you're on this challenge, okay? So with that being said, let me switch screens, and as soon as my screen share starts going here, uh-oh, hang on. Let me reshare my screen. Here we go. Let's start by just kind of zooming out a little bit. My internet's kind of being slow right now. So, all right, here we are. Here's Merus Adventure Park. Let me zoom out a couple more times here so we can just kind of see a few things. All right, we've got Amarillo, Texas. We've got Claude, Texas. We got 287 running here. Okay, so I-40, I-27, and then 287. There's two ways to get here. Typically, if you're coming from the south, you can either come up through kind of canyon, and you're coming around 11. Let's see what this is. I just went blank on this road's name. I drive it all the time. Let's just see. 1258. That's right. Okay. You're either coming through on 1258 from kind of the canyon side, or coming up 207 if you're coming from the south. If you're coming from anywhere kind of east, you're going to be coming in on 287. You can drop down on 207 to get here. Or if you're coming through on I-40, you can come down again 207, go through Claude, 1258. Or if you're coming from up north, you're coming in on 287, and then you can take I-40 out to Pullman Road, or you can go out 287 to Claude. So any way you want to get here is fine. Once you kind of get close, you're going to turn south on County Road 9. This road right here. It's a kind of small two-lane dirt road. But really, we say the adventure kind of starts on County Road 9 because sometimes it's a little bit rougher. I mean, if it's been raining, it could be a little bit muddy. It typically doesn't get too bad, but it is a dirt road that brings you down and then all the way to kind of the entrance of the park. So a couple of things to just share here. As soon as you pull in the gate right here, you're going to see our office, and that's where you're going to check in. So right when you get here, the first thing you got to do is check in. Don't just start running the route. Come check in, make sure that that you have everything that you need. And by the way, you're going to need a couple of things for this. You need a GMRS radio, because we want to make sure that when you're down there that you can get a hold of somebody if you need to. You're going to need a fire extinguisher. That's a mandatory thing for everybody that comes to the park. And then also, we highly recommend that that you come here, especially running the extreme. You're going to need a winch in your recovery gear. Not saying that you're going to get stuck, but there may be several times that you do need that kind of gear out there, and you should, if you don't have it out there. If we have to come recover you, by the way, it's $250 for the first 90 minutes of recovery and $100 after that. So we don't want to have to come recover you, recover yourself, bring your gear. But when you get here, check in to the office, and that's going to be right in this area. And then you start running. So the first thing that we're going to do is take off. This is marked in red, by the way. There may be multiple red ones here, but I'll just kind of show you. You're taking off on Park Road North, and you're taking off cruising. You're going to go around the windmill. There's a really cool windmill here. It's very scenic, and sometimes there's cows there. And like, if you kind of hit it at the right time, I mean, the canyon you'll be able to see back here. It's just a beautiful shot. So you're coming around the windmill on Park Road North. You continue to kind of come in here. And by the way, by the time that you pull up to our office, you're still going to think that there's no canyon here. It is completely flat. You can't see the canyon. Even from our office, you cannot see the canyon. But as soon as you come around here, you're going to start seeing the canyon in all of its glory. Absolutely beautiful. All right, you're going to keep going on Park Road North, and we'll keep going north here. And then right here, you're dropping into your first actual trail. Okay, so this is the VR4 North Trail. You're going to be running it clockwise. So that's actually backwards from how we typically run it. We run it typically counterclockwise. You're running it clockwise. There's a couple of spots that are a little bit more challenging running it clockwise. That's why you do it. But the cool thing here is kind of like, as you can see, as soon as you get on this trail, you're on the rim of Palo Duro Canyon. The VR4 North Trail is incredibly beautiful. It is one of the most beautiful trails that you're going to run anywhere. because you're running literally right on the rim, and you've got several hundred feet here, right? 5, 6, 7, 800 foot of elevation drop down into the bottom. So the cool thing is we built this to be a really fun rim trail. So you're just cruising around the rim constantly, just views after view after view after view. It is spectacular. It's also really fun because it's a machine built trail. Hardly any rock on this trail. So nice, all dirt, ups, downs, off camber, whatever you want. It's a super fun trail. You're going to kind of land over here at Hetz's Bluff. This is one of those places. You see the little camera. We recommend you take a picture here. Okay, take a picture, post it. You still have signal up here, by the way. After that, you're continuing around. You're still going around VR4 North, cruising around. And now you get to Cable Point. So Cable Point is another cool picture spot. You can actually pull over here. Take some picture. There's old cable systems over 100 years old. It goes down into the canyon. By the way, when you're down at the bottom, now you're actually going to be able to see the bottom of the cable system. So that's kind of cool. All right, you're taking back off again, right up against the rim here. It's super fun because you're going clockwise here. The driver's side is on the rim side. So there's a couple of times where you're going to look over and the edge, the cliff is literally going to be 7 or 8 foot from where you are sitting. And I'm talking several hundred feet down. So it's really fun run. Okay, this little climb right here, I know it's like, well, don't really know where that is, but there's a little climb right here. Sometimes it's a little bit tricky, but that's about the trickiest spot on this whole trail. You're going to continue to kind of cruise around all the way, and then right over here, you finish VR4 North. Congratulations, you finished your first actual trail. Now you're just going to hook a left and you cruise down to Drop Zone. All right. Look, Drop Zone is kind of a notorious trail here because you're going from the rim down into the creek down here, and you are dropping a lot of vertical feet in a very short amount of time. There is a tricky section right at the top. So, you know, you can maybe search Drop Zone, drop in at Merus or something like that. But it's steep. So you're going to definitely need to check your line here. Make sure that you are, at this point, this is going to be your first really big descent, right? So 4 low first gear, manual first gear. Even if you drive it automatic, get it over where it's manually locked so that you don't start going and it shifts into second or third and you got to get on your brakes real hard because that's going to not be a good thing, right? You really want to take it slow coming down here, very controlled. Take your time as you're dropping in. The first part, when you clear that, the rest of it is not too bad at all. Really kind of fun. You get down into the creek. Now you are in Tintin. You're cruising down, super cool down here, right? Because even if it's really windy and nasty up top, by the time you get here, there should be no wind at all. It is really amazing. You're going to be running on a sandy bottom. It's really fun. Beautiful red walls, you know, 30, 40, 50, 100-foot red walls that you're cruising next to. It's really beautiful. You're going to go down Tintin for quite a while, and then you are going to get to Kate the Great. Okay, this trail is named after my daughter. Another machine-built trail. This is the first machine-built trail down in the bottom of the canyon, and it is an awesome trail. This is definitely already, it's only been open for about 3 months now, and it's definitely a park favorite already. It is a black level trail. It doesn't have a lot of rock on it because it is machine-built. But it has some super fun climbs, descents, off camber stuff. The views are really cool because Kate the Great is a mid-level trail, meaning it's not at the bottom of the canyon, but it's not at the top. It kind of does some nice elevations, you know, between that midsection. So you're going through here, right around here is where the bottom of the cable is. That's another cool spot to take a picture, kind of from the cable going up. All right, now you're just kind of cruising around over here. Really fun section over here. It's a really nice steep climb. There's a climb over here that you're going to hit maybe about like 29 to 30 degree incline on a climb. It's really good. If it's wet, it may be tricky. Okay, usually when it's dry, it's not a problem. After that, you keep going. There are some really off-camber sections, steep descents after that, so just kind of watch your line. You keep cruising all the way through. keep going on Kate the Great. Great views, fun trail coming all the way around. Now, keep cruising up. Right about here, there is a punch out. Just make sure that you do not take the punch out. You're continuing across. You keep running, Kate the Great. All right. A little further up, Kate the Great is going to drop into Salt Fork Section 1. You've only got a short distance here into Section 1, and then right here, you're taking off on Kate the Great again. So make sure that when you hook into Salt Fork Section 1, you're hooking back out. You're taking another left out. It's maybe about 200 yards from the time you drop in until the time you're climbing out again. Another really fun section over here. Now you're just kind of below. This is Hetz's Bluff where you took a picture earlier. You're just kind of below Hetz's Bluff. You're cruising that midline. Keep going. Really fun section. And you're going to kind of punch out right at the Meadows area. Okay, so for you guys, you're going to be camping in the Meadows Site 1 initially, but as of about 3 weeks from now, there's actually going to be a secondary site right here that's going to be just for the TrailRecon Challenge. So we're clearing out another section right over here. That's where your new section is going to be. So if you're amongst the first that run it, February, March 2023, you're probably staying in the Site 1 in the Meadows. After that, you're going to be over here. Now, one thing with Kate the Great, there are several trails that are like this that you have to know what the line is. Meaning that sometimes you're going to be coming up over something and it's going to be completely blind because you're coming up and you're going straight back down. So even when you're coming up, by the time that you start cresting over, you may still not know where the line is. But you got to know what the line is before you're all the way over that kind of crest. Because some of these, as soon as you get over, there is like a 90-degree turn to the right. Most of them are turns to the right. Sometimes there's a turn to the left. So this is where if you're solo or you're having to kind of get in and out of the vehicle the whole time to spot, this is where it's going to take more time. And the other thing to keep in mind is that these aren't the kind of trails, like some of these trails, you are going to be in and out of your vehicle 30 times in like less than like 300 yards. Like, trust me, this is why this challenge is hard also, because it's not just like, can I sit in my vehicle and drive something? It is, can I handle getting in and out of my vehicle 400 times in the next, 16 hours on trail over the next, 30 hours total. That's one of the things that makes this thing tough. So just keep that in mind. It's not just about like, hey, I'm really good and I could drive over anything that's in front of me. There's some of the stuff that if you just go over without knowing the line, you may drive right off of a cliff, and maybe it's a small cliff and it's like 10, 15 feet. But some of these drops are going to be 30, 40, 50, 100-foot drops. So just keep that in mind. It's super important for you to know the line. All right. So when you get to camp, you're now Camp 1. So you've typically, on average, you're going to be running about 4 hours at this point. So this is a good spot. You came in Friday afternoon or Thursday afternoon. Time to set up camp, or hey, hit that stop button on your Gaia app, and now you drive back up. So just really quick, if you are staying on top, let me zoom out on this real quick and just kind of show you what you're doing at this point. So you are down here. If you are driving out, you're taking northbound. It's a green level trail. And you're driving northbound all the way to the 101. You're taking the 101 all the way up in Park Road North. These are all green trails. And then you're back over kind of here at base. From the Meadows to up here at base is probably going to take you 35 to 45 minutes. So it is a little bit of a trek, right? So just keep that in mind. All right. So let's say it's day 2, starting off here. If you stopped, camp to the top, Park Road West, all the way down to the 101, all the way down to northbound, all the way back to the camp area. All right, camp day 2. Here we go. Day 2. Day 2, you're starting off. You're going to run Salt Fork Section 1. This is a creek trail. So the nice thing about the creek trails is you don't have to worry about falling off a cliff anywhere or going over anything. Like, you're literally in the lowest place on the trail. Really nice. So you could kind of, make up a little bit of time here. You're just cruising through the creek. But one thing, don't try to race through this, because there are such incredibly beautiful things to see all along the way. take time to smell the roses, i.e., look around, check things out, take pictures, enjoy the journey. Okay. You're cruising all the way down Salt Fork, section 1. Most of this is pretty easy stuff. It's a sandy bottom. It's got some rock on it. Hang on, let me get zoomed back in here. All right, sandy bottom, got some rocks on it. There's a couple of spots you got to watch your line, but for the most part, it's still fairly chilled out. Nothing too major. You keep running. It's really beautiful. You keep running down until you hit Middle Earth. Now, Middle Earth was a black trail. It's been downgraded to a blue trail. So nothing too major over here, but there are a couple of spots that, again, you got to really watch your line, just kind of know where you're going, what you're doing. Not too many big rocks or anything like that on Middle Earth, but it is really cool. So there's a beautiful, really red kind of rock section right through here. That's a cool spot to get a picture of your rig. It's beautiful. Kind of as you're coming down, there's some cool spots, and you're climbing back up. You're climbing over this little creek here. You keep kind of cruising through all the way here. You got a little bit of a horseshoe. Keep coming down, and you're going to drop into the Merus 101. So at the Merus 101 is a green trail. It's going to hook a right, go all the way down the Merus 101. Back into the creek, Salt Fork Creek. Now you're in section 2. Kind of a quick run here on section 2. I did map it. You'll see there's a couple of different lines here. I did map it. The TrailRecon Extreme route does kind of go through a couple of rocky areas. So keep that in mind. Don't, when you get into section 2, just kind of hug it left all the way and take the easiest green line through here. Hook it on the red line. This is why we want you to follow the Gaia and make sure you got it zoomed in when you're going so that you're kind of tracking the route. Several fun kind of sections to play here. This is Deep Creek Ridge. You're going to run this on day 3. So there is a short section here that you're going to be kind of running the same thing. You're running it forward once and backward once. On day 2, you're just cruising down. There's a dry fall right over here. That's a really cool spot for a picture. So when you get to the dry fall, park right on the edge of the dry fall. It's about an 8-foot drop. Run around over here somewhere, get a cool picture of your vehicle. Really great spot. After that, there's a little bypass here that kicks you into Salt Fork Section 3, which is now a black level trail. Okay, couple of stuff here. Between where this black level trail starts, where you drop into the creek, and where you're punching out right here, you can see it's not very long. There are some tricky rock sections through there. So just keep that in mind, especially if you're trying to do this in a full-size vehicle. Really watch your line through there. Okay, there are some big rocks through there. This is a place you can get a bumper hung, a diff hung, something like that. You may need some spotting through here. And then caution, every time there's a big rain that comes through, this creek changes. So there's part like this creek used to be rated a blue until we had this one rain, and then it was a black. And there's sections of this creek that could be a double black, but it's wide enough to where you can kind of get around a lot of stuff. But again, watch the red line. I want you to stay as close to the red line as possible on your tracker. You're going to get to the punch out, and then you're going to take this punch out. So now you're going to get back out of the creek. Little kind of short route here that you're taking and getting all the way to kind of up here. And again, when you're following, there's multiple lines on here. You're going to have the very specific link on here, so you're not going to see these other lines. They're not going to be on your Gaia. They should be on your Gaia. Just follow the Extreme Challenge Day 2 route. You're back onto the 101 here. You got a quick run over to the Mars area. Okay. And again, as I'm talking through this, you can actually have your timing guide next to you looking through this. Here we got just a quick little drop in, quick little route into the Mars area. So you're just kind of going through here. This little alien, this is the Mars area over here. Really, really cool area. Lots of red kind of mounds. It's a fun place to take a picture as well. So be sure to kind of take a picture there before you hop onto Huckleberry. All right, so we keep going here. And now you're going to join the Huckleberry Trail, which is a black level trail. So think of it this way. Salt Fork Section 3 was your first kind of run to, okay, now we're stretching our legs. We're getting into some harder stuff. This is going to be the second one. Okay, so at this trail, now you're starting to get into stuff that's a little bit more challenging. Okay, so just keep that in mind. You're kind of running down. This is actually, there used to be the trail here. We actually cut a little bypass here to make it harder, not easier. So you're taking this little bypass here, you're coming around, and here you're just going to kind of keep you're just kind of circling the Mars area. So all the way around the Mars area, kind of coming down. Now, one thing that I do want to talk about is there are a couple of tricky spots on this trail. Just understand that there's going to be some spots that there's one place where there is a pretty big boulder right in the middle of the road right now on a climb with loose stuff all the way around it. So people have been kind of stacking some rocks over there, but sometimes somebody goes over and knocks all the stacked rocks off, and then you may have to stack rocks or pull winch or whatever the kind of case may be. That's kind of right back over here. This white area right here is a giant rock shelf, and it has 900 diff hangers on it. Okay, so you can see that there's a couple of lines through here. Follow the red line. Okay, there are some sections here that are tricky. Sometimes it's one of those things that depending on your build and how tall you are or low you are or wide you are, or whatever the kind of, I mean, there are just a lot of places here that you're probably going to be taking some shots to the underneath of your vehicle. So just take it easy through here. Don't try to kind of go hard charging through there, because that's where you're going to start breaking stuff. So you're probably going to take some shots through this section. Kind of down, there's a lot of rock. This big white thing is just a big rock shelf. Getting down here into the creek, there's still quite a bit of rock there. Now you're back into this little creek. It's not too bad. And then right here, there's a dry fall. You're going to be hooking a left, and now you're kind of like more on the dirt road again. Okay. Now you're kind of just kind of meandering kind of through here. This next section is fairly easy. Cruising all the way to the end of this, and you're kicking out on Merus 101. You got a really short drive here. Like, I mean, this should take you like 60 seconds to 2 minutes. Really short little drive, and now you're on to Sagasaur Black. You're going to see multiple lines going through here, but we are running the black version. So just make sure, again, you follow Gaia, okay? All right, so here we're going up. It's just like this. You could very easily take this route here and join back up with it. If your route does not look like our route, no badge. Okay, stay on the route. Okay, so typically, if you watch the route closely on your phone, if you're watching Gaia closely, you'll be able to correlate exactly where you need to go on the trail. It shouldn't be very difficult. I don't want you to think it's going to be hard out there, but there's a couple of spots where it splits. As soon as you split, your GPS should show you, hey, you're getting off the track. Get back on it. All right, coming around. Keep going. There's a couple of spots. This trail has a blue version and a black version. You're running the black version. So sometimes you're going to be on kind of a blue, and then you're peeling back off to the black section. So you got a couple of routes here. You can see you're kind of running close to the kind of the edge of the property line here, and there's no fence there. So, I mean, just stay on trail again. You're kind of peeling back off. Now, this last section kind of coming into, you know, starting about right here, this last section here is fairly technical. There's a really good climb right over here. So make sure that you're taking it straight. Sometimes it's loose. Right now, I just ran it this weekend. I'm staying over to the right because there's actual rock over there that you can get some good grip on. If you're over to the left, you're more in the dirt. So, but it is fairly technical kind of through this back section here. And keep kind of coming around, and then right here again, there used to be kind of a little road that kind of goes through here that meets up with a blue one, all this kind of stuff. Make sure you follow it. This back section over here is fairly technical again, right? You're kind of going technical after technical after technical, and keep in mind, by this point you've been running some pretty technical stuff for quite a while. You're probably going to start feeling some fatigue in your body, in your mind, kind of depending on what kind of shape you're in. If you're not used to like off-roading quite a bit and in and out of your vehicle, you're probably going to start feeling tired around here. So and also that's when you make mistakes. So make sure that you're stopping for lunch, make sure that you're drinking plenty, that you're actually eating. Sometimes I get so wrapped up in just being behind the wheel and going hard that I forget to eat, right? So make sure that you're eating, make sure that you're drinking, all that kind of good stuff. Meeting back up with the blue part of it, kind of coming around. This next section's pretty easy. You can see most of it has blue there. So You just kind of keep going around, and then boom, you're back off to a black section. You kind of meet up with the blue for a second, black section, another black section over here, kind of with the blue again, peel off for another black section, and then you can just see it's kind of on and off the rest of the trail. So kind of running through, and then the rest of it here, it's all kind of on the blue trail. So the last part's not too bad. Now you're back over to the Merus 101. You're going to hook a left here. If you choose to kind of not do the extra day 3 morning session here, the rest of the day here's a breeze. So don't worry about it at this point. If you're kind of like tired, fatigued, you're ready to go to camp, no worries. The rest of it's pretty easy cruising. You got a green trail here, the 101 loopback, which is a blue trail. It's really a green trail. There's one section that's a little bit steeper and looser, and that's why it's a blue, but 95% of it's all green. So kind of cruising all the way through here, running around, coming all the way down, and you end up in the South Penns area. You cruise kind of through the South Penns camp. You're dropping into Salt Fork Section 4 now, and now you're running the creek all the way to your campsite at Boots Off. Okay, so you'll see the creek intersects the road a couple times here. You're running the creek all the way around. Okay, you're actually out of the creek here because there's a do not enter sign. This one section of the creek we don't actually run. There's some springs here where there's usually wildlife, stuff like that, so we try not to disturb that area. You're popping out, and then here's Boots Off. All right, we are at Camp 2, Night 2. Now, keep in mind, if you're base camping from here, what you're doing is you're hitting that stop button on your recording. You got your day 2 route. Turning right around, you're going back here. You're hitting the 101. And now you're taking the 101. This is a green trail all the way back, all the way to the front of the park. Tomorrow morning, you're cruising the 101 all the way back to where you were. That's probably going to take you about 35, maybe 40 minutes from there. All right, let's start day 3. Now, keep in mind, you're going to see a loop here. I'm going to zoom out a little bit. There we go. Okay. You'll notice that there's from here kind of going all the way around. See this? All of this? It's a loop, and it ends up back over here. The reason we did this specifically is that day 2, if you got good energy, you finished, let's say you finished it in 5 hours, you're like, man, I'm ready to keep running. You can go ahead and run this loop, and then day 3, you've got a much shorter run out of the park, back up, especially if you're like, man, I got to get out of here early on the last day. I got to get back on the road, whatever. You can make day 3 a lot shorter by adding to day 2. Okay, so either way, you'll see that day 3 ends up here. And by the way, when you get your route, it's not going to quite look like this. We have 3 individual routes. So you can literally only have one route that's on your GPS that's not confusing you with anything else. But let's start day 3. All right, day 3, you're in camp here. You're taking off. You're kind of swinging into the creek, driving out. And now, instead of staying in the creek, you're taking the 101. You're just cruising a green trail all the way to South Penns area. And now you're taking the back 40. You're cruising all the way. This is the playground area, which is a really cool spot where you can it's the only area in Merus that's a free-for-all. Kind of going by the spot, hooking it right over here, past the playground, and then you're getting into Starlight. Starlight is another one of these trails that you really have to pay attention to your line. There's several spots here that if you get offline, it could get bad really, really quickly. So you're taking off, you're running Starlight, coming all the way around, keep going. Again, make sure that you're staying on the red. There are a couple of very tricky spots on Starlight over in this section here. Okay, so I'll zoom in a little bit. The reason it looks a little bit different is sometimes when we go out there and just the smallest variation kind of throws the map off, or sometimes the GPS tracker is just off like maybe 10, 15 feet. So that's why you got to make sure, just keep kind of one route on your GPS. If you have multiple ones on here, it's going to get confusing. But what's your line through here? Make sure that you don't get too off camber. Okay, like that kind of spot, especially if you're overlanding and you keep an extra weight with you. this may be one that even if you're overlanding, leave as much stuff as you can in boots off in the camp, and then run this, pick up your stuff, and then head out if you're running it all Sunday morning or Saturday morning on day 3. So kind of keep running around, and then keep going. All right, all the way around, and then you're getting to the back 40. You're gonna hook a left, and now you got a short little run on the back 40. I mean, it's straight, it's pretty flat. And then you start Lonesome Dove. Lonesome Dove is also a black trail that's been downgraded to a blue trail, but maybe after a big rain or something like that, we're gonna take it back to a black level trail. But you drop it in, you're running a small section of the Berg Flow Trail here, very easy section, nothing real technical. All this is remember, it's rated blue, so it's fairly chilled out. You're running kind of all the way around, and this is actually a really cool trail too. Lonesome Dove views are really beautiful, really fun. So this is going to be a nice run back over here. And right over here, there's a gate. And then you're getting onto kind of one of our new trails. And we just kind of recently built this for one of the specific things for this challenge, but also just to connect Lonesome Dove to Boots Off. However, this is a black level trail. It's still fairly new at this point. Make sure, again, you check your line and you kind of know where you're going. So again, you're seeing probably, hang on a second. There we go. I had the wrong spot, sorry. Right here is, again, this is why it's confusing when there's a lot of lines on here, but we're following the red line. So this is where the trail starts. This first section is really cool. Like this area right here is right on a cliff of like a 200-foot drop. It's a really, really cool spot to take a picture of your vehicle right here, kind of on the edge. After that, you're dropping, start kind of dropping in. You got a fun section through here, kind of climbing up, going over this little flat spot. There are a couple of really tricky sections over here. So again, just make sure that you see your line. There's actually a place where you're going down really steep, and you got to turn while you're coming down a steep grade, and there's a big rock over on the driver's side. So you may have to kind of come down, do a little back and forth, get around that rock. There's also some trees there, so you got to kind of really just watch your line through there, work the vehicle, maybe get your back tire up on that rock to get over it. But it's a fun obstacle. After that, you kind of have a couple more things, a little flat section through here, and then this last section right here that takes you kind of from the top here down to the bottom. You're dropping several hundred feet here very quickly. It is steep, it is loose. Watch your line, especially right here. You see this white section? That is actually a washout that's right off of the trail. So you got a steep descent with a washout. If your driver front or driver rear hooks at washout, you will go over, and you may go over multiple times. So make sure you're going to be coming down. You got to go off camber to the passenger side, come around there. Just make sure that you're clear on that area. If you have a spotter, use them. If not, I would take every precaution to just make sure that you're not going to slide in there. The first 4 times I ran this, like I really almost took my Jeep over, but we've been doing a lot of work on it. So by the time you run it, it should be a lot better than it is right now. But it's just one of those things, especially if you run this at the end of day 2 and it's dark or something like that, just watch your line coming down this last trail. That's going to kick you off into Salt Fork Section 3. Again, you're right there at Boots Off. So if you want, from there you can gather your stuff and then head in, or maybe you decided to run this last section end of day 2. Now you're ready for camp, or if you've been running day 3, make a circle around the camp, and now you're off onto Salt Fork Section 3, which is a black level section. You ran a small section of this on day 2. Again, now you're at the bottom of the creek, so there's nothing that you can fall off here. There's nothing that you can kind of go off a cliff or anything like that, because you're going to be in the lowest kind of part of the whole thing. We're just kind of cruising all the way up, keep cruising all the way up, getting into Section 2 over here, and then we're going to take Deep Reach Creek. It's a black level trail. We're about to downgrade it to a blue, so it's not too bad, but again, after one rain, it could be a black again. Really fun, beautiful kind of trail here. Lots of really big, tall walls. You're still down the creek, so nothing to worry about as far as like going offline too much. Then you get to the 101. You hook a left. You're going to be climbing out. This is the climb out right here. And now it's just a pretty easy, quick run back up to the office where you'll hit the stop button. And congratulations, you just completed the TrailRecon Extreme Challenge. All right, so I gave you guys a really quick run through, of this whole thing. Now it's up to you guys to come run it. It's an incredible challenge, and you're definitely going to feel it. Driver fatigue is a real thing. You're going to feel it on this. Like, we've never had somebody that ran this that just didn't have driver fatigue by the time they finished it up. So just keep that in mind if you have a long day. Also on the road after you finish that next day, you would have been in the seat a lot during that time. You're driving to get here. You're spending 16, 17 hours on the trail over 2.5 days, and now you're back on the trail, or back on the road. So just keep that in mind. If at any time that you guys get down there, something happens, you get stuck, you need help, you broke down, whatever the case is, like, we're here to help you. That's why, Brad and I are so excited about this challenge. Is you're going to learn so much in the time that you're here, but we're also here to come help you. We've got a team here that's ready to come help you. Maybe you're running this with some other people. I know, we've had complete strangers that are booking this and coming out here together and meeting for the first time and running it together. And by the time they leave, they're best friends. I mean, it's really cool. So this is one of those things that if you want to come run this, maybe you're going to be solo, maybe you're bringing your own group, maybe you're hooking up with a different group, whatever the case is, but just know that we're here to support you and help you through this. And what we want is we want you to get your badge with your serial number on there. So you can say, hey, I was number 20 or number 50 or 100 or whatever the case may be. As of right now, we've chosen to only do 1,000 of these to start. So we'll see if something kind of comes after that. But as of right now, there will only be 1,000 of these ever issued. And I hope that you get one of these. Like, it's really cool. It also comes with a really awesome coin. I don't have the coin with me. They're locked up in a safe location. Molly locked them up. So you'll have your coin that you could carry in your pocket, your challenge coin. You'll have your badge that you put on your vehicle, but this is something really cool. So, by the way, if you ever run across Brad and you pull out your coin and he doesn't have his coin, he's buying. Okay, so that's the rule. He's buying a round of drinks for you. So hopefully, if you have your badge, you go somewhere, you see Brad, you whip out your coin, be like, I've got my Extreme Challenge coin. Where's yours? If he doesn't pull these out, he's going to buy you a drink. So with that being said, guys, that's it. Again, my name is Dirk with Merus Adventure Park. It's been an absolute blast putting this challenge together. I know that you just went through a long video. I don't even know how long I've been going, maybe like 40 minutes, 50 minutes. I don't know. But I'm excited about this. I hope you have a blast. I hope this is an incredible adventure for you. And let us know if you have any questions. We've got over 200 5-star reviews. Most of them are either like, hey, the canyon is amazing, the trails are amazing, and the customer service is amazing. So we're here to help you, answer your questions, whatever we can do to help. We want you to have an amazing time here on the TrailRecon Challenge and Extreme Challenge for this case. And that's it. Have a great rest of the day. Make sure that you get a copy, a digital copy of the spreadsheet, that you can know what all the trails are. Get your link on Gaia GPS so that you know exactly where to go, and have a blast running the TrailRecon Extreme Challenge. Thanks, guys.